Time again to read this week's Torah portion. I'm excited and I want to examine the Word to see what God has to say to me. And let's just pray before we read. And Father, I ask that you have mercy on me. Show me what you want to show me. If anyone's listening to this, may you show them what you want to show them also. Pray for understanding and revelation. I ask you to bind the evil one, all his schemes and plans, any mind bending or anything that wants to prevent your word from accomplishing that what it should accomplish. We ask you that your perfect will be done and nothing will stop it. In Yeshua's name, amen. Deuteronomy 3:23 to 7:11. So from verse 23. And I besought the Lord at that time, saying, O Lord God, you have only begun to show your servant your greatness and your mighty hand, for what God is there in heaven or on earth that can do according to your works and according to your might? I pray you, will you not just let me go over and see the good land that is beyond the Jordan, that goodly mountain country with Hermon and Lebanon? But the Lord was angry with me on your account and would not listen to me. And the Lord said to me, that is enough. Say no more to me about it. Get up to the top of Pisgah and lift up your eyes westward and northward and southward and eastward, and behold it with your eyes, for you shall not go over this Jordan. But charge Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to possess the land which you shall see. So we remained in the valley opposite Beth Peor. Now listen and give heed, O Israel, to the statutes and ordinances which I teach you, and do them, that you may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, gives you. You shall not add to the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God which I command you. Your eyes still see what the Lord did because of Baal Peor, for all the men who followed Baal Peor, the Lord your God has destroyed from among you. But you who clung fast to the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and ordinances as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do them in the land which you are entering to possess. So keep them and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the peoples, who, when they heard all these statutes, will say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what great nation is there who has a God so near to them as the Lord? Our God is to us in all things for which we call upon him. And what large and important nation has statutes and ordinances so upright and just as all this law which I set before you today? Only take heed and guard your life diligently, lest you forget the things which your eyes have seen, and lest they depart from your mind and heart and all the days of your life. Teach them to your children and your children's children, especially how on the day that you stood before the Lord your God in Horeb, the Lord said to me, gather the people together to me, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn reverently to fear me all the days they live upon earth, and that they may teach their children. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of heaven, with darkness, cloud, and thick gloom. And the Lord spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard the voice of the words, but saw no form. There was only a voice. And he declared to you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, the 10 commandments. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And the Lord commanded me at the time to teach you the statutes and precepts, that you might do them in the land which you are going over to possess. Therefore take good heed to yourself, since you saw no form of him on the day the Lord spoke to you on Horeb out of the midst of the fire. Beware, lest you become corrupt by making for yourselves to worship a graven image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, likeness of any beast that is on earth, of any winged fowl that flies in the air, the likeness of anything that creeps on the ground, or of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And beware lest you lift up your eyes to the heavens, and when you see the sun, moon, and stars, even all the host of the heavens, you be drawn away and worship them and serve them, the things which the Lord your God has allotted to all the nations under the whole earth. But the Lord has taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, out of Egypt, to be to him a people of his own possession, as you are this day. Furthermore, the Lord was angry with me because of you, and he swore that I should not go over the Jordan, and that I should not enter the good land which the Lord your God gives you for an inheritance. But I must die in this land, I must not cross the Jordan, but you shall go over and possess that good land. Take heed to yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and make for yourselves graven images in the form of anything which the Lord your God has forbidden you. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. When children shall be born to you, and children's children, and you have grown old in the land, if you corrupt yourselves by making a graven image in the form of anything, and do evil in the sight of the Lord your God, provoking him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that you shall soon utterly perish from the land which you are going over the Jordan to possess. You will not live long upon it, but will be utterly destroyed, and the Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be left few in number among the nations to which the Lord will drive you. There you will serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear nor eat nor smell. But if from there you will seek, inquire for, and acquire as necessity the Lord your God, and will find him, if you truly seek him with all your heart and mind and soul and life, when you are in tribulation and all these things come upon you in the latter days, you will turn to the Lord your God and be obedient to his voice. For the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not fail you or destroy you or forget the covenant of your fathers, which he swore to them. For as now of the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and asked from one end of the heavens to the other, whether such a great thing as this has ever occurred or been heard of anywhere. Did ever people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire as you heard and lived? Or has God ever tried to go and take for himself a nation from the midst of another nation, by trials, by signs, by wonders, by war, by a mighty hand, by an outstretched arm, and by great terrors, as the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? To you it was shown that you might realize and have personal knowledge that the Lord is God. There is no other besides him. Out of the heaven he made you hear his voice, that he might correct, discipline, and admonish you. And on earth he made you see his great fire, and you heard his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved you, your fathers, he chose their descendants after them, and brought you out from Egypt with his own presence by his mighty power, driving out nations from before you, greater and mightier than yourselves, to bring you in, to give you their land for an inheritance, as is this day. Now recognize and understand therefore this day, and turn your mind and heart to it, that the Lord is God in the heavens above and upon the earth beneath. There is no other. Therefore you shall keep his statutes and his commandments, which I command you this day, that it might go well with you and your children after you, and that you may prolong your days in the land which the Lord your God gives you forever. Then Moses set apart 3 cities of refuge beyond the Jordan to the east, that the manslayer might flee there who slew his neighbor unintentionally and had not previously been at enmity with him, that fleeing to one of these cities he might save his life. Bezer in the wilderness of the tableland for the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan for the Manasseh. This is the law which Moses set before the Israelites. These are the testimonies and the laws and the precepts which Moses spoke to the Israelites when they came out of Egypt. Beyond the Jordan in the valley opposite Beth-peor in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moses and the Israelites smote when they came out of Egypt. And they took possession of his land and the land of Og, king of Bashan, the two kings of the Ammonites who lived beyond the Jordan to the east from Arur, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, as far as Mount Sirion, that is Hermon, and all the Arabah lowlands beyond the Jordan east as far as the sea of the Arabah, the Dead Sea, under the slopes and spring of Pisgah. And Moses called all the Israel and said to them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and ordinances which I speak in your hearing this day, that you may learn them and take heed and do them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb. The Lord made his covenant not with our fathers, but with us, who are all of us here alive this day. The Lord spoke of you face to face at the mount of the midst of the fire. I stood between the Lord and you at that time to show you the word of the Lord, for you were afraid because of the fire and went not up into the mount. He said, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me, or besides me. You shall not make for yourself yet to worship a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, and showing mercy and steadfast love to thousands and to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in falsehood or without purpose. Observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy, as the Lord your God commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. In it you shall do any work. You shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, or your manservant, or your maidservant, or your ox, or your donkey, or any of your livestock, of the stranger or the sojourner who is within your gates, that your manservant and your maidservant may rest as well as you. And earnestly remember that you were a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out from there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord your God commanded you to observe and take heed the Sabbath day. Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God commanded you, that your days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with you in the land which the Lord your God gives you. You shall not murder, neither shall you commit adultery, neither shall you actually or steal, slyly or steal. Neither shall you witness falsely against your neighbor, neither shall you covet your neighbor's wife, nor desire your neighbor's house, his field, his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. These words the Lord spoke to you, all your assembly, at the mount, out of the midst of the fire, the cloud, and the thick darkness, with a loud voice. And he spoke not again, added no more words. He wrote them on 2 tables of stone, and gave them to Moses. And when you heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, you came near me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders. And you said, Behold, the Lord our God has shown us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have this day seen that God speaks with man, and man still lives. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of the Lord our God any longer, we shall die. For who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living God speaking out of the midst of the fire as we have and lived? Go near Moses and hear all that the Lord our God will say. And speak to us all that the Lord our God will speak to you, and we will hear and do it. And the Lord heard your words when you spoke to me. And the Lord said to me, I've heard the words of this people which they have spoken to you. They have said well all that they have spoken. Oh, that they had such a mind and heart in them, always reverently to fear me and to keep all my commandments, that it might go well with them and with the children forever. Go and say to them, return to your tents. But you, Moses, stand here by me, and I will tell you all the commandments and the statutes and the precepts which you shall teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess. Therefore your people shall be watchful to do as the Lord your God has commanded you. You shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. You shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God has commanded you, that you may live, and that it may go well with you, and that you may live long in the land which you shall possess. Now this is the instruction, the laws, and the precepts which the Lord your God commanded me to teach you, that you might do them in the land to which you go to possess it. That you may reverently fear the Lord your God, you and your son and your son's son, and keep all His statutes and His commandments which I command you all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and be watchful to do them, that it might be well with you, and that you may increase exceedingly, as the Lord the God of your fathers has promised you, in a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, only Lord, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your mind and heart, and with your entire being, and with all your might. And these words which I am commanding you this day shall be first in your own minds and hearts. Then you shall wet and sharpen them, so as to make them penetrate and teach and impress them diligently upon the minds and hearts of your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them as a sign upon your hand, and you shall be as a frontlet's forehead bands between your eyes, and you shall write them upon the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And when the Lord your God brings you into the land which He swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you, with great and goodly cities which you did not build, and houses full of all good things which you did not fill, and cisterns burn out which you did not hew, and vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant. And when you eat and are full, then beware lest you forget the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall reverently fear the Lord your God, and serve Him, and swear by His name and presence. You shall not go after other gods, any of the gods of the peoples who are round about you, for the Lord your God is in the midst of you, is a jealous God, lest the anger of the Lord your God be kindled against you, and He destroy you from the face of the earth. You shall not tempt and try the Lord your God, as you tempted and tried Him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and His exhortations, and His statutes which I commanded you, and you shall do what is right and is good in the sight of the Lord, that it may go well with you, and that you may go in and possess the land which the Lord swore to you to give your fathers. Cast out all your enemies from before you, as the Lord has promised. When your son asks you in time to come, what is the meaning of the testimonies and statutes and precepts which the Lord our God has commanded you, then you shall say to your son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord shone signs and wonders, great and evil, against Egypt, against Pharaoh and all his household before our eyes. And He brought us out from there, that He might bring us in to give us the land which He swore to give our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to reverently fear the Lord our God for our good, always, that he might preserve us alive as it is this day. And it will be accounted as righteousness, conformity to God's will in word, thought, and action for us if we are watchful to do all His commandments before the Lord our God as He commanded us. When the Lord your God bring you into the land which you are entering to possess, and has plucked away many nations before you, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Ammonites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when the Lord your God gives them over to you, and you smite them, then you must utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, or show mercy to them. You shall not make marriages with them. Your daughter you shall not give to his son, nor shall you take his daughter for your son. For they will turn away your sons from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and he will destroy you quickly. But this shall you deal with them. You shall break down their altars, and dash in pieces their pillars, and hew down the Asherim symbols of goddess of Asherah, and burn their graven images with fire. For you are a holy and set apart people to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be a special people to Him out of all the peoples of the face of the earth. The Lord did not set His love upon you and chose you because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the fewest of all people, but because the Lord loves you, and because He would keep the oath which He had sworn to your fathers, the Lord has brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage from the hand of the Pharaoh king of Egypt. Now recognize and understand, therefore, that the Lord your God, He is God, the faithful God, who keeps covenant and steadfast love, mercy with those who love Him and keep His commandments to 1,000 generations, and repays those who hate Him to their face by destroying them. You will not be slack to him who hates Him, but will require him to his face. You shall therefore keep and do the instructions, laws, and precepts which I command you this day. That's the end of this week's portion. It is good. It is very good, and I like to always remind myself about the commandments. And other thing what was interesting to me is how Moses saw the promised land, and made me think about something. But let's just end with prayer. Father, thank you for your word. Help us, Lord, to obey your commandments, those which apply to us, Lord, whether we are Jew or Gentile, Lord. May we do what is right in your sight, Lord. Ask for mercy and for grace, Lord. Help us overcome sin, Lord. Help us to persevere, Lord, under whatever kinds of persecution we might be facing and trials, Lord. May we continue to obey you with the little we have, Lord, and may you bring increase in whatever way if you want to. May you be exalted and make for yourself a great name, Lord. Help us, Lord, to bear good fruit in the right season. And I said, if there's anyone there that needs prayer for healing, Lord, you are the healer and all power belongs to you. And I thank you for healing and deliverance and miracles, Lord. May you touch and make whole your people. I thank you for your word in Yeshua's name. Amen.